All right, all right. Welcome to the Iron Sharpening Iron Show. I'm your man, Big Jack. This is my man, Walt Talks. We are here to prove that we are stronger together, that if each one would reach one, we can all grow and glow. And, dude, it's the day after July 4th. So it's the 5th of July. And Walt, I'm going to tell you something. This show is a little different for me because it is July 5th. And I'm remembering Frederick Douglass. It's called to speak before some very important men and on the subject of freedom on their nation's birthday. And he would not speak on July 4th. They asked him to speak on July 4th. And he said, I won't speak on July 4th, but I will speak on July 5th. And he came to them and he asked the question. So I know this is the 250 years of freedom. It's a monumental occasion. I remember back in 1976 when the bicentennial quarter came out and all of that stuff. I was only 6 years old, but I can remember it. I remember the quarter, I remember the celebration. And here we are now at 250. Hard to believe it's been 250 years for the nation. So, but anyway, Walt, that's what we're going with the show today. How you doing?
It's July 5th, man. I'll leave it at that. I'm glad the 5th is here.
It's I know it's a lot of celebration going along. If you was in the area, a lot of fireworks shooting off and people popping this and that. I know they were down at the mall in Washington, D.C. and all over the nation, all over the nation as far as states by states. I've seen different fireworks displays in like California and Seattle, Washington, and other places where they were shooting off fireworks. And I also seen some dumb videos of people doing some really dumb things with the fireworks. So I know in your profession, that's probably a nightmare when.
Oh man, I don't miss seeing people's hands blown off. I can tell you that, man. Yeah. But around this time of year, unfortunately, people make extremely poor decisions with extreme confidence, and they pay the price a lot of times, man. So yeah, I'm glad that those days are behind me.
I seen a guy holding a firework in his teeth, one of those little rockets that shoot off, and I'm sitting there like he didn't check his back blast area because had he known that all of that is going to come out, it burned his up. I mean, it burned his in his teeth.
Like about what, a year ago, one of the rappers got his hands blown off.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah, and remember, not only did he get his hands blown off, he was in a car with a driver. So like the driver lost part of his face, man.
Oh, wow.
They talked about the rapper. I forget the guy's name. They talked about him, but his driver lost half his face, man. Lost his ear and like the right side of his face.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, man. I mean, it's I don't know. And again, man, when we were kids, we'd all taken firecrackers and take the gun pot out the fuse and to slow it down and
time
it and all that, right? But hey, man, it's
They're
crazy.
They're dangerous.
It's crazy. It's dangerous, man. It's there's a reason that you let the professionals do it,
Yeah. And we're definitely. I know they broke I guess a world record yesterday with the most fireworks shot off at one time or in an event. I think it was like 850 different fireworks in 40 minutes or whatever. That was in Washington, D.C. last
my
night.
hometown, and hey man, stay the hell away from it. I didn't even tune it in, didn't watch it, and I'm glad it rained.
Yeah.
So
all right, but so with that being said, we do got a guest on today. He's one of our I would say he's been here before, so he's always welcome. We say Hall of Famers. That's what it's like. He's a double Hall of Famer. We talked about that before when he was on
platinum.
the show. Yeah, triple platinum. We're gonna look at it that way. So we're gonna get him up on the stage, and we're gonna kick off this show of the Iron Sharpening Iron show. And this is the July 5th or the 250 year celebration episode, if you want to look at it that way. So let's get him up on the stage, though. You good?
Let's get it.
Let's get it. And see if I can find a way to get him up here. You know how that works. All right, my man Q Bonds in the house.
Q Barnes, what's happening, champ?
How sweet and how pleasant it is for brethren.
Well,
It's
okay.
all good. It's all good.
Yeah.
Again, welcome to the Iron Sharpening Iron show. You've been here before. You don't have to say now that you're back in the house for the second time. We don't have to show you where the cup's at and all that. You're at home now. You're at
Yes,
home.
sir. I consider myself a veteran.
Yeah, you're a veteran. That's right, 100%. So, hey, Q man, we talking on the subject of 250 years. I've seen a lot of videos that say 250 years of freedom, and I am again. Let's get this straight, because everybody know I don't talk politics and I don't talk religion, and they're like, "Well, why did you bring this up?" Because I think it's important that a lot of people know the history and understand that the 250 years of freedom, but it's the freedom for who? That was the thumbnail I used. Freedom for who? And you saying your 250 years, because there's a lot of stuff, and I know some of it will take us across that line. Well, I'm already prepared for it. I know I see you. I'm already prepared for it. But it's important, because I think sometimes we miss that part. And I think the younger generation miss it even more, because they're not teaching it in school anymore as much as, or it's been, I'll say, whitewashed or whatever. And with that being said, who's going to tell them if we don't tell them? And you got a platform. We have, and I'm not saying that 50 million going to watch this, but if they do, we're going to make sure that we give them something to think about, when it's all said and done.
That's
And
the first part of the irony right there. That
But
they are
they're not
taking
teaching.
that out of the school. I mean, think about that, man. That's the most ironic thing out of all of this. It's
Yeah.
like, yeah, so yeah, boy. Okay, let's go, man. Let's get it.
Yeah, it's time
Let's
to
get it.
go. I mean, it really
Let's
isn't to
get it.
go.
It's
So
a
Q
go.
Barnes is in the house.
Mhm.
That's my man. For those who don't know who Q Barnes is, I have a very, very, very tight circle. And really, there's only 3 people in that circle. And 2 of them up on the stage right now. So it's a really, really, really tight circle that I have. And I got 2 of them up on the stage with me now. So that right there is telling you who Q Barnes is. He's in my
Absolutely.
circle. It's really, really tight. And I've had many a times where Q had to calm me down or get me back online, and there's been times I had to get Q back online. So
Many a
Blind leading the
time.
blind. The
Many a
blind leading the
time.
blind, huh?
yeah. So, but with all that
Yeah.
being said, I'm glad to have him back up on the stage. And look,
If
you know me, I come at y'all with all kinds of questions and
mhm.
throw different things at you. And and because it is, I got an email the other day, and it was just like, we're celebrating 250 years of freedom, and I'm sitting there like, freedom for who?
Mhm.
And that was the biggest thing, because I know it hasn't been 250 years since slavery was abolished. So we're going to look at it that way. And so, and I'm not even just looking at that. And don't get me wrong, for anybody who's watching, talking about I'm not against anything. I serve this country.
Yes.
The Constitution. I stand firm on, I really do, in my opinion, this is the best country in the world, 100%. But we have our flaws. Don't ever get that twisted.
Yes.
So I've been around the world several times, and I've seen other flaws in other countries. But then I'm like, you got to clean up your own house before you can go talk about somebody else's house, and that's where we are. So, yeah. And I see Aquafunk's out in the house. What's up? And then
Uncle Funk.
Julius, yeah, Miles. So we got Molly out there. What's up, Miles? And that's one of the brothers that was in Utah with me. Walt. He came and he's checking us out
Okay. Okay.
in the chat today. So welcome to the Iron Sharpening Iron Show. So Q, I got some questions for you, man. I know you're a historian by education, I believe,
Yes, sir.
and so you're gonna walk me down a history path and all that good stuff, and help me, help me understand some things. So I put them together. So if we get them right, so let me get them up here. So here's just one question, not one, it's multiple questions, but I just want to say, here goes one right here. Can a nation be considered free if only part of the population enjoy freedom?
Yes.
Huh? Okay.
Yes.
All right,
Yeah.
so that's a good question. Now, look, I know it's not a big debate question, but it is. So, can a nation be considered free if only part of the population enjoy the freedom?
Yes.
Okay.
And the reason why my answer is yes is we've done it. We've showed, this country has showed that that from the perspective of those who benefit from the minority, okay, from the accomplishments of the minority has caused those in the majority to state and and basically relate to the rest of the world that this nation is a nation of freedom, where its standards are freedom, but it's foundational. It's foundational founding of a God-given force for freedom. People was enslaved in 1776. So while one, it's a double-edged sword. Once a double-sided mirror. One image that the mirror is throwing is people are free and experiencing liberty and the pursuit of happiness, and the other side is projecting an image of complete and just unadulterated living in a world of hell based on this mythical beast that has been propagated by the masses, mass media, conservative ideas and notions that black people are this mythical beast of burden. And so where we chattel slavery um has been with this world since its founding. It's always been slavery because in the midst, in the plunders of wars and battles, the losing side traditionally becomes slaves, or in a force in a institution of slavery. But this particular slavery, this institution, which was coined the peculiar institution of slavery over in America, is far different from any type of slavery that has ever seen, that has ever uh, uh, been in existence in this world. And I know I'm moving across a lot of things at at one time, but I'm gonna get to my point here. Um, Chattel slavery over here in America is far different than any slavery that has ever existed in the world, because over here in America, where chattel slavery was involved, it involved the dehumanization of the of the African slaves. And then right after slavery, when we forced and we continued to push for our freedom, our freedom, we were given a not we were not given total freedom. We were given a we were given what Martin Luther King Jr. Termed that a check. We were given a check to actually take to the bank of liberty in cash, but it always came back as NSF with
Insufficient funds.
non-sufficient funding, because the powers that be knew that at any point, if the realization of true of freedom and liberty was given to this resilient group of people, that they were so afraid that the tables would be turned back on them. And going back to this thing of, can a nation your question that can a nation? Your question was, can a nation? Your question was, can a nation be free? Am I right?
Can a nation be considered free if only part of the population
If only
enjoys
part of the
free?
population, we've experienced that here, whereas and it hasn't completely uh, uh, materialized into the point that we're back in basically 18. We're back to with the oh my goodness, with the gutting of the of Section 2 of the Voting Rights Act. We're essentially back to 1865
Yeah. Okay.
in America, and we're basically oh God, where we experiencing a fight for the same fight, the same battles that that we engaged upon from 1865 to 1960. Let me see, the Voting Rights Act 1964. 1960 was 19 no 1965. The Voting Rights Act of 1965. We're in that era again. So we've shown that now, is it true? If you ask black people, no, it's not true. But if you ask the majority, okay, that are benefiting from what we've done and what we fought for all these years, they will tell you, I mean, and with a resounding yes, that hey, we have that this nation is free.
Okay. Wait a minute. Now, so Walt, I see you up there. What you got, sir?
So I'm 63. I've always been a big fan of Gil Scott Heron. So when he
Oh
came
yeah.
out in the 70s, some of his poetry and some of his songs, and I implore anybody that's watching this show, just go back and just listen to Gil Scott Heron and Brian Jackson. Listen to uh, uh, Marvin Gaye. Uh, Listen to some of the songs that Stevie Wonder stuff that could have been in the. It's the same story. So I'm a believer. To answer your question, I'm going to give you a few answers. One, the system is not broken. The system is doing exactly what it was designed to do.
Yes.
Blacks in America were considered three-fifths of man from the beginning. Let's be clear about this. It was a country for rich white men, landowners, even minorities, women. This Constitution was not written for them. These are things that came later. But a couple of Gil Scott Heron quotes that just kind of catch my eye. America, the international Jekyll and Hyde, the land of a thousand disguises, sneaks up on you but rarely surprises. And then from H2O Gate Blues, the Watergate Blues, just how blind will America be? The world is on the edge of its seat, defeat on the horizon. Very surprising that we all could see the plot and still could not. Think about that.
Mm.
And then if you listen to some people, they'll talk about the average lifespan of a empire is 250 years if you go back and do your history, right? So when uh when the cost of an action consistently exceeds the benefit, a rational actor stops. That is basic game theory. But an empire in stage 4 can't, because the military industrial complex has captured the political system. And that's where we are right now. We're in stage 4. And I'm kind of glad that we're here. And when I say that is because what's going on right now, we have been saying for years and people like can't see it. Because here's the thing. If you are benefiting from or not directly responsible for something, or it's not directly affecting you, it's easy for you to act like it's not happening. And I will use, just to be fair, let's take race out of it. Let's use sex. As men, we say and do things every day that can be, and I'm talking generalities here, a generalization. Men say and do things or allow things to be said and done every day that adversely affects women. But because it doesn't adversely affect us, it don't hit us until somebody says it to our mother, sister, daughter. Can we agree on that?
Yes.
Race is no different. So people think that if they aren't doing something directly, calling you a name, doing something that they aren't not responsible. When we talking about black folks in America, we when you do something, let's just be clear about this. I do something, Jack, you do something. We get painted with a broad brush. We are now responsible for every person in our cohort in the world. Am I right or wrong? So when you say free, you have to first define free. And I think that's a goalpost that keeps moving. Because if you go through slavery, you go through Reconstruction, you go through Jim Crow era, you go through the age of incarceration with the three strikes, with the with the 10 times the sentence for crack as it was cocaine, which you can't have one without the other. If you go through that, I think the goalpost is keep moving. Now here's the thing: I'm here too. I'm not going anywhere,
Right.
right? We're all here. We're all citizens of this country. But all I'm saying is let's not act like we just gonna just forget about all this other stuff that goes on.
Yeah.
And please forgive me. And I think the Frederick Douglass speech is great because he just and anybody that hasn't seen it or because you don't want to, but now you know you can't say you don't know. Go listen to the entire speech in
Right.
its
Right.
context. You will see what he's talking about, and that's the energy that most blacks in that's the dichotomy that most of us have in this country. It's like we're here, we served this country, we built this country. Our ancestors done things. My father was in the Marine Corps. I served as a public servant on the fire department. Yada 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 yada. We pay our taxes. We do all these things, but it's still not fair. And the only way you have fair, the only way you have fair is if you cut the cake and I choose the first slice. And when it comes to this country and us, that's not what's been happening. And
Highway.
that's all I'm saying. So that's what it is for me, man. And again, it's not this show is not gonna be long enough because then somebody's gonna be like, oh man, you got Michael Jordan, you got Tiger Woods. Oh man, look at you, Walt, you're doing okay. Jack, you're doing fine. Q, you're fine. That has nothing to do with it. Because when I walk in the store, I still get profiled. And I'm 62 years old, will be 63. I still get profiled. I still get profiled. I still, when the police, I haven't been pulled over in a while, but you know, I still have the talk in my brain. I still have the talk that I had to give my grandkids. And then let's be clear about this. When you talk about privilege, let's get this one out the way too, just so we can just get it all on the table. When you talk about privilege, no matter what type of privilege you're talking about, let's go back to men and women. Privilege doesn't mean you don't go through things. Privilege means you don't go through things because you are of that particular cohort. Meaning, so when it comes to privilege for men, let's use men again. Let's get race out the way for a minute. As men, we get a pass that sometimes women don't get right off the bat. I don't care how weak you are, how strong you are. You could be the worst guy in the world. You could be dumb as a bag of rocks, but for certain jobs, men get the benefit of the doubt that women don't get, even if they can outperform us, right or wrong. Am I
That's,
right?
I mean,
So,
that's true.
so all I'm saying is, if we get privileged as men, it doesn't mean when someone says men are privileged, it doesn't mean that we don't go through things as men. As men, it means that we don't go through those things because we are men. Because we are men, we just kind of like it's kind of like walking in the door with your uniform on. Okay, you're already high enough to get on this ride, and then we'll figure out where you're going to sit once you get in the door. And that's what's the part that people don't seem to get because, and they don't even seem to get that they are still benefiting from things that came before them that allowed that their parents and grandparents were allowed to participate in
Yes.
and so again, man, if you want to know the truth, if you want to have an open mind, you can have an open mind. But if you don't, then you don't. But all I'm saying to you is, and to everybody that's listening, just get out of your feelings. Don't take it personal. Nobody's asking you or accusing you of anything. All I'm saying is, for once in your life, if you haven't already done it, and let's be clear about this, there's a lot of people right now that's pissed who have. Look at this thing from the other perspective, from the
Right?
other side. That's
Well,
all we're saying here.
and the big thing is, and a lot of it, and Walt, thank you, and Q, both of you, thank you. And for those who are tuning in, thank you for tuning in to the Iron Sharpening Iron show. I know this is a little different from normally how we, do any show, but it's not a trying to tear anything down. It's really trying to bring awareness to what's going on. And it's not all about, the skin tone that you see up on the panel right now, because there's a whole lot that has been going on, or that is going on still today, or that it's like, it's like how, because I'm still confused. I do get confused sometimes, because I'm not the smartest, or the sharpest pencil in the box and the smartest person in the room.
Hey, bro, you
I
you
don't
need
even,
a butter knife is always appreciated at the dinner
yeah,
table,
it is 100%. It is. So, well, my thing is like, and what a lot of people don't realize, and I look at again, we're talking 250 freedom, and the big thing was the what makes you are free because you declared you're free. I'm free because you gave me rights to be free.
Ain't that something?
That's a big difference.
You were born, and think about what they're doing right now. Right now, birthright citizenship is being objected by a person who two of his three wives were not born in the country, who his kids wouldn't even be citizens based on what he's trying to do. That's why when you look at like a guy like Clarence Thomas, if you just got to look at his history, he was born in Gullah country,
Yes, he
right?
was.
Correct.
He was given opportunities. He benefited from affirmative action. He
Yes,
benefited from a lot of things.
yes,
And
he
he's
did.
a guy who has basically benefited. He's been used by people. When I say used, he's allowed himself to be used by people, even down to the money that he's making now on these trips. And he is one of those guys that as soon as he got in position, he pulled up the proverbial ladder so nobody else can get there. That's how much he hates himself. So, you know, and then let's not even talk about politics. Let's talk about humanity. Let's talk about the thing I'm more proud of than anything. What I'm learning from this is this: the people who I thought were standing on being decent, they're not really about decent, because it's not about it's not because we know now, we've seen all these things that happen, and we've seen the fact that how you even talk about your predecessors in that office. We already know, man. These people are you're renting. These people are you. These people are renting head space in your head because you know you are inept. And I'm
Yes,
just saying in general, if you go back to your position at work and you talk about the guy that you took his place, and you worried about what he's doing with instead of just doing your work, doing your job. And again, man, it's a double standard. So I just can't I just can't sit here and have this a lightweight conversation. Jack, you know me for a long time, bro.
Oh
And
no,
I'm
no.
really trying my
Look,
best here to
and
be
look,
respectful. But
and
like
I
if we're gonna
appreciate.
have this conversation, let's have this conversation, man, because
well,
Well,
hey,
people try
can
to
I
BS
can I
their way through this and just act like, oh
no,
well,
no, no.
it's
And
not
it's not
that.
about that.
Yeah.
And again, it's not about that. I
But
think
you can't have it both ways. You
it's
can't
so
have that
many,
conversation without having that
but
conversation.
the thing is, there's so
Mhm.
many other areas that are affected that we go, and I would say we go straight, but a lot of times people go
Mhm.
straight to slavery, which was definitely devastating. Don't get
Oh
me,
man.
not even trying to get it twisted in any kind of way. But look, it was created. I took a timeline. I made a post. I'm
Mhm.
just gonna put it up there so we can see it. But here we
Mhm.
go, right here. So we know again, 1776,
That's
independence
good.
declared. Okay,
Mhm.
right there, all men are created equal. 1865, slavery was abolished. Okay, so we know that we still had to go through a lot to get the rights and this and that, but it was abolished. In 1870, the voting rights expanded to black men. Remember, Walt, you just made that comment about men. So not even the women, but black men,
Not even the women, but black men, right?
Okay, but it was the 15th Amendment. See, that's what I was talking about. You're giving me paper to say you now have a right. The 13th Amendment abolished slavery. 15th.
Everybody else is God-given inalienable rights born into.
So now this is where it got me really bad. You're talking 250 years. So we're talking 17s. Now we're in the 19s. Women gained nationwide voting rights in 1920. Look at this. In 1924, Native Americans recognized as U.S. citizens. The original people.
The original people of the country. Think about that, man. I mean, think about how asinine that is.
1924. And then you go into 1964 and 65, and Q, you mentioned that, the landmark civil rights and voting rights legislation. And then 1990 was when the disability rights was strengthened. So basically, you couldn't come against a person because they had a disability and this and that. So, but those are just minor things. Those are just little things that that I was able to pull up and I wanted to share, because the thing is, we're talking 250 years. But at the same time, a lot of this is in the 19s.
I was born in 1963.
Right. So right there.
I was born in 1963. My school district that I went to had busing. It was a segregated school district, had busing starting when I was in the 4th grade. When I got to the 10th grade, so from the 4th grade to the 10th grade, there's busing. I didn't get bused till the 10th grade from my community to another community. In the 10th grade, they were still protesting busing at this school.
Oh, yeah.
I'm talking about parents still out front actively protesting busing. And the thing is, man, this is the thing. It's not about the bad people. Because you're going to have bad people. You're going to have people outliers everywhere you go. It's the people who say nothing. It's the people who don't make, for example, Jack, I have a blended family, just like you have a blended family. Q, I'm not sure about your family, but in my family, we got 4 or 5 different nationalities. You understand? So it's not about that. All I'm saying is, it's like, you're not going to come to me, and I'll use you two guys as examples. Both of you guys played football, right? In college. And, nobody's going to come to me and tell me, man, college athletes are idiots. You can't do that to me because I know you guys. So I have to say, what do you mean? I have to explain. Because here's the thing. If I'm okay with that and I don't say anything, people think I'm okay with that. And then it becomes something else. So you have to be able, and again, this is in my mind, and this is where the fun starts. You have to be strong enough to stand up or at least question, to get context from people's thoughts. Because in this day and age, people will say things, it'll go unchecked. Somebody will get it, like it 10, 20 times, and then it becomes true. And that's crazy.
Yeah.
So I'm with you, Joey. It is a journey. And here's the thing. We are up to the task. We have taken time to build relationships with people, build friendships with people. We've all worked in jobs where we had to do these things. But let's not, we just can't act like, man, because the 250th anniversary comes up, that everything is good, and then July 5th, is back to business as usual, like the Wile E. Coyote and the Roadrunner. You know what I mean? Like, we back to killing each other.
Can I interject here?
Yes, sir.
Well, I'm glad that you kept taking race out of it, because that is a absolute excellent, that's an excellent analogy.
Okay, thank you.
And it was effective. But I'm gonna add race to it.
Okay.
And I'm going back to slavery, because we see what the issue of America will never live up to its creed until it recognizes what happened to those slaves during slavery, and 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 to the point of so in 1776, the Declaration of Independence was was addressed King George III. These are our uh, this is our argument as to why that we should separate from the the kingdom. And one of John Adams, John Adams, in an address to King George III, he himself said, "You will not treat us like the Negro."
Right.
Him making that comment,
He
him
knew.
making that comment
He knew.
says everything that you need to know about that particular or that peculiar institution of slavery and what its social economic value was to the minority ruling class in
So
America at the time.
so bring it to 2026. It's the same thing.
Same exact.
You may be poor, you may not have this, but at least you aren't that. And I challenge anyone to go and look at the quote by Lyndon Baines Johnson when he said you can give the poorest white man somebody to be mad at. And I'm paraphrasing here. And you can get anything you want from him. You don't have to, because
He,
basically, it.
let me throw it in for you,
Let me
bro.
say this one. Let's get that
Go
one
ahead.
out the way. I saw a cartoon. It's a black guy with a construction vest on, a white guy with a construction vest on, and a white guy sitting at the head of the table. This is America as I see it right now in 2026. The white guy at the head of the table has a plate full of cookies. The black guy has one cookie. The white guy with the construction vest on, the other guy, who these two guys work together,
Right.
he's probably got 3 or 4 cookies, right? Guy at the head of the table with a pile of cookies, the black guy with one cookie, the other white guy with 3 or 4 cookies. This is America as I see it right now. The guy at the head of the table looks at the white guy, points at the black guy, and says, "This guy's trying to take your cookies." And that's where we are right now with America. It's
Yes.
like you're if you just do your homework and if you just think, the unexamined life is not worth living. If you just think, you have more in common with somebody in your social economic background than somebody just because they have your same race. You got more in common with somebody in your tax bracket as far as your daily life problems if you just remove race out the way of it. You know what I mean? Because everybody wants to take care of their families. But we right now we have a government that is playing the race card on us. If you think about how we're being pimped and used here, man, it wouldn't happen. It would be an uprising. And if you go back to the American Revolution, if you go back to the Boston Tea Party, it was the same energy. It was a divide and conquer energy because people in power need folks to lead. They need folks under them. They need chaos and confusion amongst the masses to do what they do. And if you just think about it, man, who benefits? Just ask yourself, who benefits from the BS that's going on right now in this country? And I ain't
Well,
don't even put a name with it. I'm talking about what class of people benefits from that. Go ahead,
well,
man. I'm
since
sorry.
since you name drop
Hmm.
Gil Scott Herring, I'm gonna
Hmm.
name drop my boy James Baldwin.
Oh,
And
to be a Negro in this country and to be
listen,
relatively conscious
listen.
is
So
to be in a rage almost all the time. That's James Baldwin.
he wrote the book on being white in other lives in America.
Hmm.
And he said that no one was white before they came to America.
That's right. That's a fact.
And
That is a fact.
it's a fact.
That is a
And
fact.
he positioned that the Europeans, the European immigrants made a moral choice to
That is
adopt the construct of whiteness.
To define the difference between white and black.
Yes, yes.
Because now you don't
And
have to worry
secure
about the
social
classism. There you
standing.
go.
Remember, to
Social
secure
standing. Yes,
social
sir.
standing at the expense of black humanity.
That's a fact,
And
man.
that right there. See, See, those were the embryonic stages of what we're dealing with now in America, because it has metastasized to something that's, I mean, absolute. It's unbearable. It's
So
unbearable because the powers that be keeps confusion and chaos here. That's why Donald Trump, all he ever does is just it's throw off after throw off after throw off. You know, and it's to keep the masses in chaos, battling against each other. And what you were saying about Lyndon Baines Johnson, he was actually talking about the Southern strategy, where
the
he
Southern
said that
strategy.
if you can convince a white man, or the poorest white man, that at the very least that he's doing better
Better than.
than the best performing black man, you can take every damn from him. Hell, this is his words, not man.
Yep.
Hell, he'll
You,
even give you the last penny out of his pocket.
pocket. So let's take that Southern strategy and then let's fast forward. That was the 60s. And
Yes.
just to show you how this thing has been consistent, because people think, oh man, it's all over, it's all good. Take the Southern strategy and go play. And I ask everybody, just do your homework. Don't take my word on it. Google Lee Atwater
Oh, yes, sir.
and the Southern strategy.
Woo,
And
woo.
he says the same thing, except he says you can't say inward, inward, inward anymore, because that'll
Yes.
get you in trouble. So you got to
Yes.
use code words like busing and
Yes.
quotas, but it's the same strategy.
Yes.
And that's what I'm saying, man. People don't get how foolish and naive they are to believe, because you know what my biggest argument is with not my friend. Well, my discussion I have with my friends sometimes, associates, people I respect. Put it like that. I say, oh, I get it. You think you're in the club. No, you not. No, they just set you up so you can say you're better than me.
Yep.
But you're not in the club.
Pick
You're
me.
not in that gang. You're not in that crew. And then when you talk about how you take all of these things that you allegedly are against. You're against sexual harassment. You're against rape. You're against using these things for your own benefits. And now none of those things matter. So that tells me it was all BS from the beginning.
Yes. You
It was
had
all
no.
BS from the beginning. And
You
like
had
I
no
said
family.
from the beginning, the only way you have fair, the only way I know that you are decent is if you cut the cake and I choose the first slice. That shows me all I need to know about you.
Yeah.
And anybody that doesn't operate like that. And Jack, even on the golf course, same thing. It tells me who you are. And I'm at a point in my life, I meet disrespect with distance, bro. I don't do no whole bunch of arguing. I don't do no whole bunch of debating. I'm out your way. And I
Mm.
suggest you stay the hell out of mine. That's the
Right.
way I operate. And that's just the way I operate, because it's just easy. And if we're going to have an honest discussion, because I really want to know why people feel the way they feel. Because I'm
Right.
not trying to change your mind. I'm just like, explain your position to me. Explain it
Mm.
to me. Because if you just give me talking points, explain your position to me. Tell me,
Mm.
oh man, I had it rough coming up. Nobody said because you have privilege that you didn't have it rough coming up. Nobody said because you didn't have, you grew up in a trailer park, life wasn't tough. All I'm saying to you is let's just talk about the world we live in. When you come out of your trailer park and I come out of a housing project and we show up in the store together without anybody knowing our background, the way this country is culturally conditioned, tell me who's going to get the benefit of the doubt. If we do the exact same thing the exact same way, and that's all I'm saying. And that, my friend, is the injustice. And that's
Right.
the part that people don't seem to always understand. And hey, look, man, AQ, Jack, we've done pretty good for ourselves. In spite of whatever, we
Yes.
still, and we don't make a whole lot of excuses for what we can't do. We just go get it.
Yes.
And I get it. But like when they talk about quotas, and what do you think the legacy clause at a university is? How many cats you think was down Virginia Tech because they didn't play ball, didn't do this, that, and the third, but their parents went to Virginia Tech, so
Yes, sir.
they were legacies and they got accepted into Virginia Tech, whether they had the grades to get there or not.
Yes, sir.
No,
That's the
it's so
kind of
good.
stuff I'm talking about,
Right, right.
man. So
No, and
yeah,
it's true. So now my thing is, and my question to you both
uh,
is, and I know we don't have an answer, and I'm not even really looking for an answer. I'm just throwing a question out
you
there.
started this, man.
It's,
Go ahead.
and look, it's not so much when it was stopped,
Hmm.
because I know it's a double standard going on.
Hmm.
You already talked about the privilege and all that other
Hmm.
stuff. And matter of fact, the comment you just made, Walt, with the coming out of the trailer park, coming out of the
Hmm.
housing project, going to the store at the same time,
Hmm.
and one will be allowed to do things that the other one wouldn't be allowed to do. It brought to my mind something that happened yesterday, and I just want to share this. It's not my
Hmm.
photo. I'm just taking the first clip I saw on Instagram because it just happened yesterday. But I do know for a fact, had this role had been reversed,
I already know where you're going. We're gonna
you
talk
already
about that.
know.
We got come on
Had,
with it.
had this role been reversed,
You
oh my
already
God,
know.
you already
You
know. So
already know.
let
You
me see if
already
I can
know.
get it up real quick. No, let's see.
You already. It's the Metro bus. It's the
Yeah,
Metro Rail.
Yeah.
The yeah.
Yeah.
There
so
you go. That's it.
Yeah. I saw
yeah,
it.
so
So that
had that
reminds
role
me of
been
Ruby
reversed,
Bridges. That reminds me of the poster with Ruby Bridges back in the day.
Yep.
right.
But
So
here's the
had that
thing.
role been reversed,
That's
But
going to be
here's
a
the
Pulitzer
thing.
Prize winner.
There's a law. There's a law in D.C. about mask.
mm,
And I just had this debate with a friend of mine who was a retired police officer. So I said, I guess DC's picking and choosing about how they enforce this thing.
correct.
But it's kind of vague because it says for use of covering yourself up from a crime, yada yada yada. But then it does say harassment. Now, just looking at the picture, nobody's harassed. But when
Mm,
you play the audio of them walking through Eastern Market, oh,
mm.
they're saying some things.
Oh yeah, they're chanting all the way,
That
all the way.
we will not be replaced. Jews will not replace us. Blacks go home. All of that, man. So again, and the thing is, they covered up their faces. They didn't put hoods on, but they covered up their faces.
Oh
And
yeah,
I'm telling you right now, some of those guys, I'll bet you my life, are just regular people in positions who have the ability to affect people's lives.
it's not even
Yes.
regular.
It's
I
some
mean, you can say
policemen, it's
regular,
some firemen,
clergymen,
it's
firemen,
some
doctors,
It's
mortgage
lawyers,
mortgage
guys,
managers.
it's
It's
some whole
judges.
bunch of guys in there.
Yes.
And the thing is, man, I live in DC. If a few hundred, 500 was about 400 or 500, I think they said it was.
over 1,000 of
Over
what
a
they.
thousand. Okay,
Yeah,
so let's just say 400 or 500 black guys show up with masks on, baklavas, all in uniform, all in sync. Let's go all the way back to the Black Panthers. Just because if you think about it, California didn't change the gun laws till the Black Panthers started carrying guns. So where's all these Second Amendment rights people? Because the Black Panthers used to carry guns, rifles. And
That's
that's
right.
when California changed their gun laws because of the Black Panthers.
That's right.
You see what I'm saying? So let's be clear about this, man. So all I'm saying, bro, hey man, I'm not saying about any individual, but if it's not a universal truth, you have racist undertones or overtones. It has racist overtones or undertones. It's certainly not being fair. If 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 it's okay for you to do it, but not for me to do it,
then it's not.
then it's not okay.
Okay, that's the bottom line.
That's the
So,
bottom line.
okay, that's what
That's
we're
the
going
bottom
back.
line.
That's what we're going back to, the freedom for who?
The
Because
freedom for who? And that's my point.
if you're free to do this, but I'm not, then it's not freedom. You
I
need
had
a
a comedian,
25.
man. I tell you what, man.
That's fine.
Bill Burr is one of my favorite comedians.
That's
I
fine.
like Ali Sadiq. I like Bill Burr. But there was a comedian, and he was a Latino brother, and he had a step brother who was a white Canadian. But his step brother was in camp was Canadian in the country, outstayed his visa.
Mm.
The the Latino brother was born and raised in the United States of America. So his mother married the other guy's father, and he got stopped. And he's like, he's a nervous wreck. And his brother's like, oh, this ain't for me. They worried about you. They're not worried about me. But this guy's a whole Canadian with no papers, outstayed his visa. And this was a whole comedy act, because there's a lot of truth in comedy. And he said, that's what it is. We're not talking about just people who don't have papers. We're talking about a very specific group of people.
Right.
And that's what it is, man. And the thing is, yesterday, when all hell broke loose and the rain came down, man, look at God, man. The irony is they had to run to the African American Museum for shelter.
That was one of the places for shelter yesterday.
They run to the African American Museum, was the closest place to the monument, the closest museum to the monument. American history is on the other side of that.
Right.
For shelter. I mean, and I get it. It's a Smithsonian, it's part of the Smithsonian, it's a public building. I get it. But the irony of it, because let's be clear about this. You may feel how you feel, but you are more of a human and want to be safe more than you want to be racist or contrarian. You just you looking for when you're looking for safety, you're looking for shelter. You didn't say, when I show up as a fireman, I've never had anybody tell me they didn't want a white fireman or black fireman touching them. I'm not going to not give service to somebody because I don't agree with them politically. That's crazy. Who does that? And people do that every day.
Every day.
But decent people don't do that. Dr. Charles Drew, when he went through his thing, think about it. And I'm not going to give everybody these stories. If you're interested, go Google them yourself. Yeah. Do your homework.
And that's the thing.
And that's the thing, because people are lazy, man. And people are lazy. They act like they don't want to know. They act like you can know anything you want to know. And I always want to know, why do people feel that way? I'm saying, tell me why. Tell me why. Tell me how your life is so hard. Tell me why.
Let me jump in there.
Yeah.
Because there's no accountability.
Why? Because why?
If they refuse to find out, they can't be held accountable for it.
Or Q, let's get to the other part. And this is what's happening right now with a lot of people that live in my neighborhood, because I have a pretty diverse neighborhood. And they realize they've been lied to their whole lives. They realize that, but you got to understand, man, back to Socrates, Socratic thinking, the unexamined life is not worth living.
Yeah.
So, but now you got to go back and examine your life and realize that what you thought was life. For example, I grew up, like I said, busing was 4th grade. So from 4th grade on, I'm in school with white kids, right? Then I get bused to a high school, but my friends who grew up and went to all inner city schools, they didn't have that experience. So when I got to the fire department, I wasn't in culture shock, because I know you got smart guys, you got dumb guys, you got idiots, you got jerks, and of all races. But some people who haven't been exposed, they figure another group of people are a certain way. But once you know better, you can't say that you don't know.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. People still use that crutch. They're like, man, I've been hurt. I've been screwed over by people I thought that would help me. And I've been hurt. I've been helped by people I thought who would. I've been screwed over by people I thought that would help me. And I've been helped by people I thought that would crush me. I got guys that I work with, man. I ran into a guy at the golf course yesterday. He was going to 18. He was going to 10. I was going to the first tee box. We passed each other. We both slammed on brakes and just gave each other a big hug, man, because it was good to see him. Yeah. So when you build those relationships, when you take the time to meet and talk to people that you're different from, just like the military, Jack, just like playing football, Q. When you take the time to build, because at the end of the day, relationships run the world. So when you take the time to build these relationships, you demystify people. And then people will tell you, how much of an insult is this? Oh man, I don't see color. What do you mean you don't see color? You sitting there looking at me. How do you not see color? I mean, I know what you're saying.
Yeah.
I know what you're trying to say. Right. But that's not a compliment. That's an insult.
It is. It is.
That's the insult. Because here's the thing. When I see you, I see you as a whole person. I don't sit here and like, oh man, he's cool. He likes rap. No, he's still a white guy that likes rap.
Yep.
I'm still a black guy that might like country western,
Yep.
and it's okay. And the thing is, man, when you're exposed to those things, once you share those things, people are like, oh man, yeah, man, but you're different. I'm only different because you took the time to know me. There's no difference between me and another guy. The guy that you said ain't is not worth a damn. Matter of
Yep.
fact, I might feel the same way about a certain guy.
Mhm.
Yeah.
You know, I feel that way about Clarence Thomas, but I'm not going to let you call him the N word in public, in my face.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
despise that guy.
Yeah.
But I'm
Yeah.
not going to
Yeah.
sit there and say, seeing you call him an N word. No, because I know you're not talking about him as a judge. You're talking about him as a human being. And the only difference between me and him as human beings is if you just look at us, is nothing until you start parsing out what we do for a living.
And
Right.
that leads us to another point of, where accountability is responsibility. See, like there's we have responsibility, but white people in America has responsibilities too. I'm sorry, but
100%.
the you know the the problem of race in America is not a black problem. It's not. I'm sorry.
That's
It's
true.
No,
not a black problem.
That's
It's a
true.
it's
psychological, man. It is a psychological
That's
and
true.
moral crisis for white Americans.
Not all white
I'm telling
Americans,
y'all,
but talk,
because
we get it.
because until white Americans confront and dismantle the the delusions of their own supremacy. See, white supremacy still exists,
yeah.
maybe not in the front of a lot of our friends,
Right.
man. Because listen, I have some
Wait a
very
minute.
close
Wait a minute.
friends.
Wait a
That,
minute. Wait a minute, Q. There was 1,000 people on that train,
yeah,
and they put masks on. So they them same friends that's sitting at your table,
yes,
Oh yeah,
because we
yeah.
yes,
don't know who was there. So don't
Oh yeah, no, no.
it-
But what he's saying is true because if you look at the other side of that,
I'm with
there
you.
are people who are, and I guess all we have to go on now, if you're not actively at a rally, is you see the news or you see social media. And trust me, man, there are some people who were in that on that team on that side of the street who are pissed because they finally, it's almost like once it finally happens to you, once something finally happens to you, because all politics are local. Once you lose your
yeah,
job, once
yeah,
you don't get your way, once you get fired, whatever the case is, now it's like, oh man, oh I knew he was going to do this to them, but I had no idea he was going to do it to me. I mean, because think about the Latino brothers and sisters who were okay with it because we just getting criminals out of the country, and then all of a sudden they start getting the construction workers
yeah,
and the teachers and the
yeah.
doctors and the lawyers and the nun that just got
And,
locked up and
and the
got out.
pool and
And
the pool workers, the people
yeah,
that can make pool water blue rather
and
than
the,
green.
and how about and how about the people and how about the people who harvest the fruit?
Mhm.
Yes,
I
Oh,
mean,
big
and
time.
these are
but
jobs.
listen,
Yeah,
but listen,
so now these are unintended consequences
right?
that people don't see past when you have a certain amount of privilege, you don't think past your initial situation. But we have always been forced to say, and then what?
Yeah,
And then what?
yeah,
And then what?
Right.
And then once we go through that 3 or 4 times, we realize that we got to wait on the whole community on us. Because if you think for a minute, and I'm smaller than both of you guys, and I'm no small guy, but I'm smaller than both of you guys. If you think for a minute that you haven't felt like going in to your job and slapping the blood out of somebody's nose,
woo,
thank you. There you go. But guess what happens? You know you can't because
oh
you know
yeah,
you got to eat. And that's the difference between the guy who goes to work and is just pissed off and come home pissed off as opposed to the guy that goes to work and shoots everybody up.
yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. But
Because let's just
the
be clear
point,
about that. There's a thin line between all of that and everybody. And the
yeah,
insane person and the sane person, there's a thin line of demarcation.
Oh,
So
yeah.
be-
let's be clear about that. But we know we got to think 3 or 4 times because we already know that you just don't have that luxury to go in there and just slap blood out of somebody's nose because they said something stupid to you today.
Right.
So you
Correct.
got
so
to
so
deal with them with the truth.
So Big Jack, going back to my point, I was saying that, that the responsibility of white people, that they got to confront the this and dismantle the delusions of their own supremacy, rather than expecting us to patiently educate them or accommodate them in a deeply flawed system as to our plight. That's where, you know, you become frustrated, and you become just exhausted from the continual.
It's
Hey,
exhausting.
listen. This thing has been going on too long. It's been going on too long, and like I said, we have a responsibility as blacks, but white people have a responsibility also in this, and it's not being done. And but what can happen? What can happen when we as black people fulfill our end of the bargain in this experiment of democracy in
Experiment,
America,
right?
and, and
Experiment.
and white people fulfill their end of the bargain? We become we fulfill our intertwined fate, because make no mistake about it, we have an intertwined fate here in America
100%.
with with
100.
with with all
100%.
every creed and color here. And I mean, we as blacks, our future is as bright or as dark as the future of America itself is going to
That's
be.
true. So
But
goes the country. So
but
goes
but
black.
but know
So
this.
so how
Well,
about this? When white America catches a cold, black America catches the flu.
woo, yes, sir.
Am I
Yes,
right?
sir. Yes, sir.
You see what I'm saying, man? And again, nobody's complaining. We're just making facts. Just
Yeah,
stating
yeah.
facts.
But
No.
James Baldwin also said, before he left and went
Hmm.
over to Istanbul, because he couldn't take it over here no
Hmm.
more. I mean, he was a gay black. He was a gay black man in America
Hmm.
during the '60s. It was tough for him. But at
Hmm.
any rate, he even James Baldwin said that blacks and whites in America are considered disowned brothers and sisters. That's what we
Hmm.
are. We're disowned brothers and sisters, and we have to assist each other in this, in this experiment, or it's gonna explode on all of us.
Mm.
It's gonna explode.
Well, look,
So when Martin Luther King said another quote, because he's just been going through this stuff, man. Rarely do we find men who willingly engage in hard, solid thinking.
Woo! Yes, sir.
There's an almost universal quest for easy answers and half-baked solutions.
Yes, sir.
Nothing pains some people more than having to think. And again, if you are in the privilege, and we don't have to talk about race, let's talk about black men over 60, well, 55, Jack, black men over 55, between 55 and 62, we all in that cohort, right?
yeah,
You know, slightly overweight, we all in that cohort, right? So
Yes.
now we're in that group. So now we benefit from whatever, whether it's the extra, the big piece of chicken, the extra piece of dessert, whatever. We all benefit from that. And then we just take it on ourselves to basically just totally disregard and totally discount, the 53-year-old slim guy and the 52-year-old woman who haven't had anything to eat because we get to benefit from this extra piece of whatever. That's just and it's oversimplifying things, but it's that simple.
mm,
It's really that simple. Excuse me. It's really that simple. And again, man, we are culturally conditioned. Go back, man. Dr. Leakey, Jane Elliott. Please go back and watch the brown-eyed, blue-eyed experiment by Dr. Jane Elliott,
Yes.
and just check
Yes.
that out, and
Yes.
just see how that is just, man. Please, I challenge anybody. if you don't do anything, Jack, you ought to post that on your thing, man.
Yeah,
If you don't
that's
watch
awesome.
anything else after this last hour and 4 minutes, go watch the Brown-Eyed, Blue-Eyed Experiment by Dr. Jane Elliott.
Yeah.
And this was in the 50s, man. The
Yeah.
Right.
50s. And that says it all. That says it all, man. So that's all I got for you, man. Hey Jack, man, and Q, again, man, this is a great barbershop discussion.
Oh
And
yeah.
and you know what's weird? I have this bad habit of thinking that people, and I should think like I think, but if you come to me and start making generalizations about white folks, I'm not gonna sit there and just allow you to say some ignorant stuff, man. I'm just not that way. I'm like, well, explain that. What do you mean? That has been your experience with two or three people, but you're saying a whole group of people
Right.
think like that? You think a whole group of people
Yeah.
are like that? I mean, some things are cultural. I get it. I get it, man. I mean, it might come down to raisins in the potato salad. I get it. We might not put raisins in the potato salad. I get it. But I'm just saying, like, that don't make them bad people. It's kind of like when you go to a soul food restaurant or we go to an Italian restaurant,
Yes.
or we go to an Asian restaurant. It's like, man, you like, wow, this is, man, whew. When you
Mm.
go get some real Latino food, you
Right.
get a real taco or something like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So all I'm saying, man, is the world, especially the United States, it's like a pot of gumbo. And individually, all of us make up ingredients in this gumbo. And individually, these ingredients don't mean nothing. They're okay, but an onion is an onion, a pepper's a pepper, and so on and so forth. But the but when you put all these things together and put them on this and let them simmer under some heat, man, the flavor that you get in this world is incredible.
Right.
It's the same way I used to look at it with the fire department. All of us come from different backgrounds, but when that bell rings, all of us have different skill sets, different backgrounds, different religions, the whole 9 yards. But we all got to find that happy medium because our lives all depend on each other, literally. So nobody has time, and that's the beautiful thing about I liked about it is we would have these discussions all the time because you can't go to work mad not talking to a guy. You gotta figure this out. You
Yes.
gotta have these
Yes.
discussions. You can't the stuff we used to talk about at the dinner table. The average HR person would run out the building, man. You guys would probably lose your jobs if you went to work talking like
Yes,
that. It
sir.
was like that was Sunday night at the firehouse or Tuesday night at the firehouse or Tuesday morning breakfast because we would have these discussions about things that just was like, man, incredible. And we would have to get to the other side of it. And then
Right.
you might not agree with the guy, and then the bell rings, and guess what happens? You still dependent on this guy. You still need this guy to respect you enough to do his job, to be a
Right.
professional. And he has to respect me enough to be a professional. And as men, we have to be able to do that. As firefighters, and I'm not just gonna say men, but as firefighters, because you got plenty of ladies out there doing their thing in the fire service right now. But when I say men, I'm talking from my personal experience. You got to get out there and get past that, man. Just like on the football field, man. Hey, man, Jack, you were the fullback. Hey, Q, you were a linebacker, right?
Yes,
If
sir.
Jack doesn't block, if Jack the fullback and blocking for the quarterback, it's a problem,
Yeah.
whether you like him or not.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Quarterback's
Well,
dead.
yeah, quarterback's dead. And you and Q, y'all are good friends, and I know the quarterback got red shirted, but I know Q was coming to see you trying to get to your quarterback too, Jack. I do know that for a fact.
Oh yeah.
And I didn't even play ball with you guys, but I
You,
just
you know
knowing
what
how
to
you
do.
guys interact,
You
I
know
know
how it
that
works.
I know how it works. I
You
I can
know
know
how
how
it
still
it
hear
works.
the
works.
ringing in my ears.
Yeah. Like anybody else could get him, but he can't get him. But
You
no.
can't get him.
But
Yeah.
look, hey, fellas, it's been over an hour. I know
Yeah.
we didn't even scratch the surface. I
Not even
want to
scratch the
appreciate you.
surface.
I do appreciate you both for your discussion today. You can see that I even backed off on even some of the comments I had to make because again, it's more I know it's 250 years of freedom and this and that, but back to the question again is for who? But this is a great nation. as far as
100%.
the things that we have done and accomplished, and we got a long way to go. We're still babies in this thing. If you really want to look
Absolutely.
at it, 250 years is young compared to all the nations around the world. So here we think we the big boys sitting on top of the hill looking at it, and other people in other countries are looking like you're still kids. You're still working out some things. So with that being said, I know we got a lot to work out. But from your perspectives and the things that you had to say, I truly believe that. And I'm looking at the chat because they were going at it in the
I was
chat.
just about to say, man. Let me say this real quick, Jack. I'm looking at the chat. Hey, for my folks in the chat. First of all, we appreciate you indulging us, listening to us for the last hour, 10 minutes. Let's start with that. You gotta have discussions because basically everybody wakes up. Nobody wakes up thinking they're going to die today. Everybody wants to provide for their family, and we all want to get home safe. We
Yes.
all want a clean house. We all want the same things. We might not get them the same way, but we all have things in common. Nobody's asking anybody to apologize to anyone. We are just trying to raise a level of awareness. Just raise the level of awareness. And again, take race out of it for a minute. Let's make it about the sexes, the genders, and think about some of the things we do and say as men and how you would react if your daughter, wife, or mother came home and somebody was acting the way you may or may not have acted or may have seen someone acting, didn't say anything about it.
Yep.
Because at that point, oh, that's my mama, that's my daughter, that's my wife. We got action. We got live action at that point, right? But the thing is, man, that's everybody that you deal with adversely is somebody belongs to somebody else too. So all I'm saying is just consider that. And if it's a universal law, if it's universal, that means if it's okay for you to do it, it should be okay for somebody else to do it to you.
Yes.
I mean, that's like basic, the golden rule. Everything I learned, I need to learn. I learned about what fifth grade, third grade. That's basic stuff. Just treat others the way you want to be treated. Have a level of respect, and hey, man, let's respect our differences, and just know the views of Walt talks do not necessarily reflect those of Big Jack and the Iron Shopping Iron Network. And we just scratched the surface, but I love to have these conversations and I stay away from it because we don't talk politics and stuff on this show and religion. But Jack, it was appropriate because the day is July 5th. I challenge everybody to go read Frederick Douglass's speech or listen to James Earl Jones read it. Go look at Dr. Jane Elliott's Blue Eyed, Brown Eyed Experiment. Just do something different. If you live in DC, visit DC, go visit the African American Museum. Do that. I volunteer down there. It's a great museum.
Yep.
If you
Yes.
can't get tickets, reach out to me online. Maybe I can get you a ticket down there.
Get you a ticket. If you're a
But you
veteran,
know,
it's free.
but you got it, and it's your tax dollar. It's the Smithsonian.
Right.
But go do something different. Go to the Holocaust Museum. I have people that have been to the Holocaust Museum, the African American Museum, in the same day because they're right up the street from each other. And man, these people are fried by the time they leave this place.
Mm-hmm.
I get people come up to me all the time, hugging me, apologizing. You don't need to apologize to me. The fact that you are here tells me that you at least want to be aware of what's
Yep.
going on the other side of the street. And that means a lot to me. That's why I always try to look at other cultures and learn other things. And all I'm saying to everybody, man, please, 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 your neighbor is your neighbor. Treat your neighbor. He might be a different person. Just have a conversation. We all have neighbors of different genders, different ethnicities. Just have a conversation. Don't get caught up in the ignorance. And I'm sorry for that, but I had to say that, Jack, because you got to put balance to everything we talked about. So
No,
I'm not sorry for saying it, but
no,
I know you was trying to close the show, man. I just
no,
want to
no,
make sure
no.
everybody's on
Look,
board
hey,
with that.
it was needed. So I mean, we
Okay.
don't have a real time limit. We try to stay within the
Yeah, I
time.
understand. I
Right.
understand.
So QB, I know we brought you in here, man, and we appreciate you hanging out with us. I think this is the longest you hung with us, and
Hey.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. We're glad you can get you on cue. You're not on vacation, man. You're not hanging off the side of a mountain somewhere, man. You know,
Oh,
pretty.
speaking of vacation, I know a gentleman that I'm expecting to see him and his family here in the
Oh,
next 60 days.
We there. We there.
all
You ain't
right.
got to worry about me. Going to
All
the
right.
Outer Banks. Outer Banks. We're
Oh,
there.
Yes, sir.
okay. Cool. Okay.
It's in the
Cool.
calendar. We ready to go.
Yeah.
All
Yeah, we
right.
ready to go. Yeah,
Play
without
some
a doubt.
golf. Going
Hey,
to Duck and Corolla, huh?
yeah, wanna give hey listen, listen, if and this is for everybody. Uh quick plug here. There's an excellent book. I made my sons read it. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
because it had just an incredible effect on my life. It was one an eye opener for me. Book by W.B. Du Bois called uh, com- the 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 conservation of the races.
Okay.
That book, that book there is an awesome book to help, whether you black, white, yellow, whatever, with the pluralism of the races, the intricacies that they need each other
100%.
in this civilization to
100%.
to actually extend what
Humanity.
the liberty is here in America. But it's an
Yeah.
excellent book. I suggest
You say the name of the book again.
it's called The Conservation of Races by W.B. Du Bois. Excellent book. Excellent book. And it's just it's just a snapshot of the uniqueness of each individual race and its attributes to our melting pot. And listen, this the best disinfectant is actually
Like,
exposure to sunlight.
absolutely. 100%. 100%. And because here's the thing, just because you don't know don't mean it's not true.
That's right.
You know what I mean? And if you just ask yourself, why? Just ask yourself why about 3 or 4 times. Why? Why is that? Why is that?
Why is that?
Why is that?
Yes.
Again, if you really want to know, because it'll get if Jack, you always hear me say it, I need context. I'm not trying to change anybody's thinking. I'm like this. If I respect you enough, even if I just know you, if I'm just meeting you and you say something, the fact that I'm in your presence and you say something that's just so out of pocket for me that I just have no idea how you came. You know, you say something to somebody or somebody says something you just so out of left field. It's like, where did this come from? The way my brain works, I need to understand how you got to that
Yes.
because maybe I'm missing something. This is
Right,
an opportunity for me to learn.
right.
Mhm.
And it's in it 9 times out of 10, man, I ain't gonna say 9 times out of 10, but a lot of times, probably more than 50-50, it's because I don't know. Because you only know what you know. It's impossible to know what you don't know.
Right.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But I do know this. I do know this. As a golfer, hey Jack, we know when we got away with a shot. You know
Oh,
when you got a lucky break.
mhm.
As a human being, you know when somebody showed you grace or mercy. You can act like you got it all together, but in your solitude, when it's just you
Yes.
and your thoughts,
Yes.
we all know right from wrong, and we all know when we got away with something, and we all know when we should have done better as people. So all I'm saying, man, is just listen to that internal thing, because I don't believe that people are inherently bad. I think people make extremely bad decisions with great confidence, but I
Mm.
don't think people are inherently bad. It's basically people are betting that they won't have to pay the price for their actions.
Mm,
And that's something that we learned as kids, twice as good, twice as smart, right or wrong.
right. Now I'm with
You just can't be just willy nilly. Man, comedians joke about it all the time when they talk about arguing with the police. Man, I was down in such and such down in West Virginia with my friend, my white buddy, man, and the police pulled us over and he started cussing out the police. I'm like, man, would you please shut up? Just comedy stuff, right? Because we know there's another book out too, Andrew Hacker, Two Nations,
you. Mm,
Separate and Unequal. That
right.
came out in the 80s. So,
Mm.
hey man, I
Plenty of
salute you
stuff.
guys, man. I
Plenty-
appreciate the chat because the chat was pretty engaged today.
Oh yeah,
And
they was chopping it
yeah,
up.
man, it's pretty engaged. And it just
I
goes to
see.
show you that every now and then, man, you gotta switch gears,
Yes,
you
Sometimes.
know. But it was a good conversation, man. And
the more we talk,
the more we talk,
the more
yeah,
we
the more we
talk,
talk, yeah,
the closer we come to defeating this thing, man, of
yeah.
separation.
And here's the thing. Hey, like you said, Q, sunlight. We
Yep,
don't even need to defeat it. All we gotta do is expose it.
that's it.
Because if
That's it.
it can't stand on its own.
Right.
It can't see that's the thing, man. Foolishness cannot stand if you put it under the light, it won't stand.
Right.
It will show you how ridiculous it sounds, how ridiculous it is.
Yes, sir.
All you got to do is put the disinfectant on it. That's right, man. That sunlight is going to expose it, man. And that's why, you know, like you know, I don't know, you pick your bug, roaches, rats, whatever. When you cut that light on, they scatter
Yes, sir.
because
Yes,
they like to live in the corners, in the trenches, in the
yes,
holes, in the hideouts, where they behind masks, behind
Mhm.
hoods, where
yes.
the world can't see them for who they really are. And that's what it is, man. And that's what it is. So yeah, I just think, man, there's a lot of cowards out here. And I'm not even gonna say they're cowards. I'm gonna say that people of cowardly acts.
Oh
Because
yeah.
I truly think that if people are really challenged to be their best, they wouldn't act as cowards. I think it's just easier to not really think this through certain things, and it's kind of like lazy, man. And again, there's no consequence to it. Like why
I,
bother, man? What they
I
gonna do
want to
to
thank
you?
you, brothers, for allowing me to come up here and on this platform. I always love my time here with Iron Sharpening Iron, and being in the friendly confines of brotherly love. And man, it's a celestial hug that cannot be matched. So just wanna thank you both, man, for it. And I love y'all, man.
Love you,
Right.
man. Hey, when y'all get together, man, what's the competition? You don't golf. With your arm wrestling, pitching quarters, playing spades, what y'all doing, man? How do y'all compete? I know there's a competition there. What's the
Oh,
competition between you
them
guys?
days, look, them days gone, man.
So what do
Yeah,
y'all do, man?
we
I
just
Y'all
gotta
we
compete
just
no more.
loving each other's
dominoes?
presence.
Oh, just
I
okay. All right.
Yeah,
All
we
right.
ain't
we
gotta
love it.
compete no more.
All right.
Yeah,
Look,
yeah,
we didn't crash heads way too much.
yes.
Now we can just take a break.
I'm like,
Hey,
all right,
listen,
man, cool.
look. You want as much peace as you can with the gentleman Big Jack.
Hey, look, man, that's a fact. He used to bully me when I was a kid. But
Man.
I just like to sit there and witness, you guys telling these stories to your kids about how y'all made these great decisions all your lives and just had it all figured out. I like
Hey,
to be there
listen,
for that part.
man. I got a group of people that
Hmm.
is anxiously awaiting Bill Jackson's presence down at
Cool.
that beach house
Cool.
because they've heard so many stories and they just want to know, is it true?
Oh
Oh,
man. Hey, look, if you
they
said
all
it, it's
true.
true.
They
It's
all
true.
true.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's true.
if it's
Hey,
true,
look. One thing about Bill Jackson, Big Bill, Big Jack, all shucks. That's his nickname. All shucks, who me? I mean, yeah, he's done it, man. The guy that
that's
done it
true.
all, man, and done it
Man,
well. Yeah,
Let's say we can talk behind the scene. Let's say good
yeah.
night to all the
Good
people
night.
that's out there. Thank you
all
all
right.
for tuning
Love you,
in.
brothers.
Please tune in every Sunday, 7 p.m. Eastern Time. We have the Iron Sharpening Iron Show. We'll get different comments or different topics, different panelists, and had a good time with you, Q. Thank you. Walt, stay behind a little bit, Q.
Got you.
After we close out. Good night to you all. We talk to you later. Peace.